Hello and welcome Exiles. This build guide will showcase one of my favorite builds, the Wall Lightning Strike Champion. It is similar to Cell Saver's Aura Stacker Lightning Strike build, and you can check his video out. The link will be in the description. This build boasts fast zoom gameplay and is a great mid to end game build that will help you farm faster, get your achievements quickly and annihilate endgame bosses, including the uber ones. It has amazing clear speed and single target damage and has the following defensive layers: 100% spell suppression, over 60,000 evasion and 50,000 armor, giving between more than 88% chance to evade attacks and 90% physical damage reduction. It has 100% ailment immunity, permanent 20 stack of fortify, permanent elusive, and a decent attack block. When you put all of these stats together, you get a complete build that will be good and you won't regret playing it. If your league started with Righteous Fire or some other starter build and have not yet tried Lightning Strike, I cannot emphasize enough how much you will enjoy this build. The build can be league started with, however, I will be showcasing the mid to end game budget around 30 to 40 exalts as we are midway through the league, so without further ado, let's get started. The main skill used is Lightning Strike, which has two parts: the first melee hit and the projectiles that follow after it. So when you hit an enemy, it will unleash a thunderous strike which releases lightning bolts in a V-shaped area in front of you. The damage is scaled by utilizing all three elemental damages to attack, being fire, cold and lightning, critical strike multiplier, and attacks hit one additional nearby enemy. The main support gem used with our Wall Lightning Strike are Nightblade support for giving us elusive when we crit, elemental damage with attacks for extra damage, multi-strike support for extra attack speed, inspiration support for extra damage and reduced cost of mana, and trinity support for again extra damage. Moving on to the auras we are going to use. We use Grace for evasion, determination for the armor, purity of elements for resistances and ailment immunity, Defiance Banner for the armor, Summon Skitterbots for defensive and offensive buff, a low level precision for the accuracy and critical strike chance, and anomalous blood and sand for the extra damage from projectiles. Apart from these, we use Anger linked with Life Tap and Divine Blessing for a huge damage increase during boss fights. We also use Ancestral Protector as a totem for increase in attack speed during bosses, while Molten Shell linked with Cast when damage support for huge defensive buff every now and then, and Withering Step on our right click to keep our elusive at maximum effect. Our movement skill of choice is Withering Step, but you can change this to Flame Dash or any other movement skill if you feel it better. Moving on to the items we are using. Our weapon will be an Imperial Claw with high elemental DPS. Try searching for 600 plus LE DPS with at least 3 elemental mods to keep our trinity at full effect. For the helmet, we use a Blizzard Crown for the extra damage, and try to look for resistances in either intelligence or strength, as we do struggle to get enough. Same goes for our boots. Try to look for necessary resistances you need, and with some spell suppression as well. Our gloves are flexible, but I highly recommend to use a glove with increased damage against chilled and burning enemies and craft Skill Strike additional enemy from Searing Exar currency. Our chest piece will be the one with at least 30% spell suppression, good amount of life, and resistances. Now moving on to the main items which are mandatory. Yule's Uprising Amulet. This makes our Grace free and it is highly recommended as we are kinda running an aura setup. A 30% increases mana reservation efficiency Influence Shield to stack the auras we require, and Perseverance Belt for the huge damage boost as we are high on armor and evasion. The flasks we use are a Divine or Eternal Flask with gain charges on hit and bleeding immunity, Granite Flask with gain charges and extra armor, Jade Flask with gain charges and extra evasion, Diamond Flask with gain charges and extra critical chance, Quicksilver Flask with gain charges and extra attack speed. When you have these flasks, try bench crafting, used when charges reach full, for quality of life and to avoid arthritis. Our rings are highly flexible with nothing mandatory. You can use high resistance ring to cap out or either high crit multi and attack damage to increase damage. However, the endgame option is to get a Mark of the Elder Ring and a good Shaper Ring with T1 Chaos Res, life and some damage. That takes care of the items. Let's move on to the Ascendancy. You should take the Ascendancy in this order. We start by taking first to strike, last to fall. This node gives us Adrenaline, which is an amazing offensive and defensive buff, and also gives Intimidate on hit. Inspirational for the free banner, followed by the 2 Fortification Ascendancy. For our bandit selection, kill all bandits for the extra 2 skill points, as it works out to be the best for us. For Pantheons, I choose Lunaris and Aberrath, but this is really flexible based on your needs. We can do most map mods, but Elemental Reflect and Cannot Leech will make our lives miserable, so try to avoid these 2 map mods. And here are the keybinds I'm using. You can change this any way you want. This is just a suggestion. Moving on to the leveling. The leveling is a bit complex and requires you to level with Spectral Helix through the campaign and until you reach level 80. I suggest using the leveling POB linked in the description. By this time you should have enough currency to reroll and also anoint Tribal Fury to get additional enemies to make Lightning Strike feel much better. Once you have a total of 2 additional enemies hit on strike, clear and damage will start feeling much better. You can use the usual league starting gear like Tabula, but check out the item sections in the leveling POB to see your options. The final endgame tree would look something like this. The only keystones we are running is a point blank. Now, these are the jewels used for the build. You're using 2 same large cluster jewels with these mods. A Watcher's Eye with precision attack speed or damage, or Anger giving crit multi, with Purity of Elements gives additional chaos resistance. Getting additional chaos resistance here instead of damage will allow us to save 5 additional points on the tree, so try to get this. Next is the Interrogation Jewel, giving us ability to sap, scorch and brittle enemies, as our skitterbots will be chilling and shocking the enemies nearby. We also need 1 mandatory Lethal Pride Jewel, giving us huge chunk of damage and strength needed for this build. Try looking for these mods as they will give huge damage increase. One of your chase items will be Forbidden Flesh and Flame, giving Arena Challenger Ascendancy node to give huge attack speed bonus. That should cover about everything you need to know to get to Rayclast with this beast of a build and destroy everything coming in your way. I really hope you like this video, and if you want to enjoy more content, please like, share and subscribe to my channel. Bye bye from Momo. Peace.